I was on tour with ESC, stage doorman, the dressers, the people that for him really mattered. They all said, lovely, lovely man, your dad. I remember him hatching this plan, the fact that it was called compass because, you know, he was always sailing, and the idea that you have your own inner compass was him. Actors are honest to the time they live, stage actors are, because things aren't recorded, it's part of the time. Dad was always extremely hardworking and also wayward, and he decided what he wanted to do he must have been in his 70s, wasn't he? Late 60s, 70s, when he started his own theatre company, and that it would go on tour and then it would come into the West End. And this was something that he truly wanted to do and believed in. I remember him hatching this plan, and it seemed kind of crazy because, you know, he wasn't a baby. But he was so happy to do it. And the fact that it was called compass because, you know, he was always sailing, and the idea that you have your own inner compass that, you know, will point whichever way and you've got to go, was him. And the first play they did was The Clandestine Marriage, and Roy Kinnear was in it. I didn't know Roy terribly well. I just I did one television with him, but I was absolutely blown away by him. He reminded me of a child, and I mean that in the best possible way. It was a child, you just wanted to hug him and laugh, and he made you laugh, but then laughing is saying, love me. Real comics give themselves completely, and they blow you away with how much they give, you know. An actor is always, but he's a little bit back, he's keeping something here. It's at cost, he does, but the comic, it's a total cost to himself. It was very funny. I remember seeing it, it was an absolute joy of a play. It was kind of, wacky, and they all in it had a ball. You just knew all the actors enjoyed each other's company very much, and it was a sort of lovely grotesque piece, and it was a success. After he died, I was on tour with ESC, and every theatre that I went to where they had gone, people, stage doorman, the dressers, the people that for him really mattered, they all said, lovely, lovely man, your dad. And then they stopped and I went, yeah, he was a lovely man, and it was just so touching. And then they went, and his dog. And I said, yes, Tiger. He had a dog, which he was very strict with us actually growing up, but this dog was so spoilt, and it was the worst trained dog you've ever met. And all of them would say, you're a lovely dad. And I said, yes, and then just go, and then Tiger. And I said, I know. I know. He was very spoiled. Actors are honest to the time they live. Stage actors are, because things aren't recorded, it's part of the time. So I'm very glad that there are some movies and there is some telly of work that he did, and certainly work that he did later in life when he was actually trying to pare back and do less and less and less for the camera. I wished it was a time just after the war. I was aware that as a child that a lot of actors had been through hell, and I remember Dad saying about Harry Andrews' feet, and he just said, just relax your toes, they're like this, you're walking around like this. And you know, we're trained as actors now to go, and the wrist and the thing and a balance, and, you know, it's a completely different kind of training that young actors have. I think a far more physical one, where the word is important, but our physicality is taken into account as well, and there's a certain amount of training and rigour that goes into that. So what? Well, I'll tell you something funny. My mum, she kept on dying, really. She had about 6 times, she had chronic asthma, and I was living nearest to the hospital, so they'd ring me up and I would go. And I remember one time driving, it was the early hours of the morning, and I thought, they said, come quick, she's on her way out. And so I just remember saying, Dad, oh, Dad. And he hadn't died that long before, it was about 6 years, I think. But I remember thinking, this has got to be the one. And I remember thinking, oh, Dad, like this. And then I looked up, I stopped at the lights, there was no one else on the road. I looked up, I was by a pub, and what it said there's written up was Courage, because it was Courage Ales. And I went, yeah, thanks, Dad. But that's what he had, and that's what he left.